Hello, everyone. This is Liz from Knowledge Return, and this is part four and final reading from the book The Ego is a Mother, and we'll be reading from the sections you see on the screen. The section of How to Get the Ego to Willingly Subside. For some, it's just the recognition that it exists and they can simply let it subside. I say this like it's easy, but actually, this is a process of recognizing what it is and evaluating your feelings, thoughts, and systems of belief. This helps you to begin to discern which beliefs continue to support you and which beliefs seek to control you. For others, it's about trust. Trusting others, receiving trust in return. In order to trust, you must let your guard down. You must be open to something new. You must be open. The trust is very important if and when you start your remembering journey. Ultimately, you will find that when you are connected and trusting of your higher self in spirit community, the ego tool will be less and less relevant. However, that concept is for another deeper discussion. The key to the ego subsiding is willingness. You cannot forcibly subdue the ego. Remember, it's a safety and security measure. Therefore, any outside or inside force will only temporarily make it dormant before it resurfaces and manifests itself in a full, unpredictable way. Therefore, like any tool, you must learn to put it to the side or use it when it best serves you. Ego death. The ego death is something that we all may need to experience. The ego death is not a death in the sense that something is gone and never to be seen again. The ego death is more of a recognition and acknowledgement of the ego that it is a tool. The ego begins to understand it's not you, the individual person. It is not the all of the mind and thought. It is not the most important thing, that you cannot live without it and that you cannot live without it. Ego death is the ego relinquishing all of those views of itself and understanding that it's just another tool humans use to experience this world. It doesn't have to be everything and everywhere at all times. Frankly, for the fact that its purpose is to exist with the human, and for the experience, it is limited. The ego death is probably experienced with people who are on a spiritual path of awakening and remembering. These are individuals who were either born with a level of discernment and connection to their higher self, or on the journey of remembering their connection to their higher self. It is easier to set aside the ego during the process because you would have established another reference point of trust, support, and guidance in knowing you, your true authentic self, your higher self, and your spiritual community. When you are experiencing ego death, you are more fully connected and aligned with the true nature of who and what you are. Does the ego have to be a motherfucker? Although the title of the book is The Ego is a Motherfucker, it does not have to be. As a collective, we must recognize when fear, anger, doubt, shame, and other forms of violence, insecurities, and negative thoughts enter our space, that they ultimately seek to control us. We think that we are protecting something. However, in the end, we are narrowing our space, controlling and limiting ourselves and others. We end up projecting those negative thoughts and emotions outwards. So the first step is to recognize that we do this, and then understand that one of the underlying root causes is the ego protecting and projecting its insecurities. The next step is to begin to work on ourselves and begin to understand and remember who we are at our core, which is a spiritual being having a human experience. We work on ourselves to understand what it is that we must learn as we experience this life. We work on ourselves And as we do this, we learn to connect with our true self, our authentic self, our true light. Remember, the only people we can change is ourselves, and everyone has the individual choice to change. The hope is that we want to change for the better. Closing remarks. Now, I will state, my spiritual community was very insistent that I write these remarks as is. I tried to change them, and then I was was like, nope, say it just like this. So here it goes. Closing remarks. I now leave you with the few closing remarks from my spiritual community. The ego is a very useful tool for the human experience. It was later and purposely used in society to suppress, subjugate, and distract people. However, the time of that is over. We encourage Earth humanity to seek love, compassion, and empathy within themselves and others. You can all choose that path and know that there will be resistance. The resistance will mask itself in many forms, but at its root, it will be fear and loss. This is the time of new beginnings. This is the time to remember yourself and why you are here. We await your arrival, and we will see you soon. Author's note. If I left you wanting more, I understand. There was no intention to provide an exhaustive explanation on the subject, as it really was information presented to me for my understanding. However, since this experience, I've come to learn and receive clarity on many items during these changing times. At the publishing of this book, I plan to launch short-form videos that you're watching right now to clarify questions I have received and have discussed with others. I hope this finds you well as you take the next steps to explore your journey. The next book in the series that I have is called Ego Death, a journey of spiritual remembering. And in that book, I actually discuss the process of me going through my awakening process and then experiencing or going through an ego death and what it meant for me. Now, through all of this, everyone will have different experiences because we all bring different and unique aspects of who we are. So my experience would not be the same as yours. However, the point of this is just talk about it so that people know that we're not alone in our experiences. We're not alone in our what we're feeling, and to make it commonplace to talk about this. So again, thank you, and I'll see you next time.